Welcome to Eduverate Kids learning session, and we have started a series on cognitive skill development, and today is the fifth in the series. We are discussing about various activities and various functional games which will help to improve the cognitive skill of the child. And today we'll be talking about one very common and interesting activity that happens in various schools, and this is also happening at home, and many parents are engaged their kids in this certain activity. And today we'll be discussing more details on sorting activity and how this sorting activity can increase the cognitive skill of the child. That will be discussing in details in today's learning session. And I'll very quickly recap the cognitive skill development among kids. If cognitive skill is developed adequately, then child becomes very strong in reasoning skills. Then child is also will be sharp in logical thinking. So also the problem solving skills will also be strengthened if the cognitive skill development is taken good care in the preschool years. And today the activities that we are discussing will in fact help in improving the logical thinking as well as problem solving skills in the child. So today the skill and the game we are discussing, the very basic objectives of the game is that the child should able to read two or more pictures simultaneously, because when many pictures are provided to a child, then child's mental ability should be very strong to interpret and read those pictures or objects quite easily. Then from this reading of these pictures, the child should able to understand the comparison in terms of size of all the pictures that is provided to the child in front of him or her. Then once the child is able to do that comparison while reading those pictures, then child should able to sort those objects or pictures as per the given instruction by the parents or by the teachers. So these are the very basic objective that we need to achieve once we complete this activity or this game with the child. Now the functional game is called sort the objectives or pictures in order. This game is very common, and we often do this game with our child, but important thing is that we must do it in a structured way so that the skill development will be very structured, very methodical, and the child will also enjoy this game if it is done in a structured way. And the very basic objective, the child reads a set of pictures simultaneously. Reading a picture and a set of pictures are different, and when a set of pictures are given, then child must look to all the pictures and derive some interpretation out of those pictures available in front of him or her. Then after reading all the pictures simultaneously, then child must understand the comparison of the pictures in terms of size, because the pictures provided are different in size, and child must understand those pictures are different from each other in terms of size. And once the child is able to process that understanding in the mind, then child should able to sort those pictures either in ascending, descending up from small to big to small, whatever the instruction is given to the child, then the child should able to do that quite easily. So this is the functional game, and based on that we'll play a structured and stepwise certain game to develop the cognitive skill of our child. As I said, this will help the logical thinking as well as problem solving skill of the child. We must understand the children between 2 years to 6 years, they spend time from playgroup to nursery, from LKG to UKG. So this game can be brought as per the age of the child. If a child is in the playgroup or between 2 to 3 years, then we must bring two pictures, and based on that, we help the child to read these two pictures and do the comparison based on bigger and smaller. And when the child is in nursery class or in the age group of 3 and 4 years, then we increase the picture to three number. We will bring three objects or three pictures of different size, and child should able to read these three pictures simultaneously and process the information based on the big, bigger or biggest, or small, smaller or smallest. So those comparison child should able to do that. And if the child is in the age group of 4 years to 5 years, or the child is in LKG class, then we bring four pictures of different size simultaneously in front of the child, so that we help the child to read those pictures simultaneously, judge that which picture is bigger and which picture is smaller among these four pictures, and based on the sorting has to be done. So this helps the child to improve the skill gradually. And if the child is in UKG class or in the age group between 5 years and 6 years, we increase the number of pictures or number of objects that we bring in different size to the child, so that the child will be reading more number of pictures, more number of objects simultaneously, make a judgment which one is bigger, which one is smaller, and the arranging or sorting those objects will help the child in thinking logically or solving the complex problems in much easier way. So this is what we at Divided Kids call it the structural way of bringing this problem solving skill or complexity of the problem to the child which is in different age group and who is in different class. So with this, we keep it in mind, and we'll go to different classes and see that how we can do this activity with our kid. Then let's go to the play group. The playgroup children who are between 2 years and 3 years, as we have already said, that we'll have to bring two pictures or two objects, because at that point, at that age group, reading two pictures simultaneously is what is expected from a child. And we'll just keep these two pictures and two objects for this purpose of the playing of this game with our child who is between 2 years and 3 years. Now, what we need to do? The objective is here. Child is able to read two pictures simultaneously, understands the comparison in size between these two pictures, and sort it as per the direction given to the child. Now, these are the two pictures provided to the child. This could be object, or this can be cut into shape from the picture, so that the pictures available to the child should be different in size. So we have these two pictures, two fish pictures here, and we are placing these two pictures in front of the child. And the direction that we need to give to the child is, you put the small fish in the box given as small, and put the bigger fish in the box which is meant for the bigger fish. So this is the whole activity that we need to do. And then child, while will be reading the pictures and judge the pictures from different size perspective, then child will be deciding out of these two pictures which one is small fish. Then based on that, child will pick up that and put that small fish in the box given as small box for putting the small fish. And then the child will pick up the bigger fish and put this fish into the box provided for the bigger fish. And if the child is doing this, then at that particular age, the sorting technique, or the problem solving technique, or the logical thinking technique, we assume is strong for the child, and this is what is expected for a playgroup children. And if your child is in playgroup or 2 to 3 years, please use this game as a tool for cognitive development. Then we'll move to nursery class. And nursery class children, they are between 3 years and 4 years. As we have already discussed, that will be taking here 3 pictures or 3 objects and engage the child to read these pictures or objects simultaneously and make meaning out of it, and make sure the comparison is done correctly as far as the size is concerned. Now, what we need to do, the objective we need to understand, the child is able to read 3 pictures simultaneously, understands the comparison of all the 3 pictures in terms of size, and sort these 3 pictures as per the direction given by the parents or by the teacher. Now we are given here, instead of 2 pictures, we are having 3 pictures, and 3 pictures are different in size. One is small, one is little big, and one is bigger. And when the child sees these 3 pictures, then automatically the child will be thinking that which one is big, bigger, and biggest. And before putting that game into perspective, parents or teacher can ask which one is big, which one is small. So child is developing this second objective, that understands the pictures from the size perspective. The child must know that out of 3, which one is small, which one is big, among 2, which one is small, which one is big. So once that understanding comes, then we are helping the child to do the comparison in these 3 pictures from the size perspective. Now we'll just make now 3 boxes, because we are having 3 pictures of different size. Let's call it, one is small, one is bigger, and one is biggest. And the objective of the child, the role for the child is to pick up the small fish out of these 3 and put that small fish in the box given for small fish. Now what the child is expected to do is that the child will be picking up the smaller fish out of the 3 fish, that's 3 objects or 3 pictures available. Then once the child is picking the small fish and putting that into the box provided for small fish. Now second, the child will be looking to the next bigger fish as compared to the small one. Then child will be picking the next fish which is little bigger and pick that fish, and it is expected the child will be putting that fish in the box given for the little bigger fish. And once the child is able to do that, then finally the child will be picking the biggest fish out of these 3 and is expected to put in that box provided for the biggest fish. It may happen that the child may fumble, the child may not able to put the right fish in right order, and that's where we as parents and teachers will make amendment, will work with our child to pick up the right fish and put that in the right box. And if this exercise is done again and again, then the child will be developing this logical thinking process, sorting process, as well as the comparison among 3 pictures very, very easily. So in other way, the sorting order can be changed once the child is getting familiar with a particular given order in which we are starting the play for the child in the nursery class. Then instead of small, bigger, biggest, we can make it biggest first, then bigger, then small. Then the child will be putting the biggest fish in the box, starting with the biggest, in the reversing the order. That can be done absolutely separately after some times, once the child is getting comfortable to work on the very basic order that we started the game with. As long as the child is fumbling, if the child is not comfortable with that first order, then we should not introduce the second order or second sorting order for the child. Then the child may further get confused, and instead of development of cognitive skill, the child will develop the confusion. So let's not do that. Once the child is absolutely fine and clear on one sorting way, then we will introduce the next certain way. Then once the biggest fish is put, then the child is expected to put the next little less in size fish in the next box, which is given as the bigger box. And once the child is able to do that, the child is will be putting the smallest fish in the box provided for the small fish. So this is very simple game for a child in nursery class. I think it is very easy for the parents and teachers to do this exercise with the children without much problem. Only thing is that we have to pick up some pictures of different size, cut them into pieces, and keep it ready for this game to be played. And as we have discussed last time, this time also I am repeating it again. For development of various skills, no need to invest too much money on different things that's available. Everything can be done by the teachers or by parents by themselves. And it is also fun to have some kind of things to be done together with your child and by you. And that also develops the bond with the child, uh, by the either by the parents or by the teachers. So this is all about the nursery class. Now, after nursery, we'll have to move to the LKG class. And LKG class children, they are basically between the age group of 4 years and 5 years. And if they are in the age group, then we are increasing one more object or one more picture. So we are placing or providing four pictures or four objects of different size for this particular setting game to develop the cognitive skill, which will further improve the logical sequencing skill and problem solving skill of the child. Now, for the children in LKG class, the very basic objective is that the child is able to read four pictures simultaneously and understands the comparison in size of all the four pictures, because all the four pictures will be different in size. And after that understanding, the child should able to sort it as per the direction that is given to the child. Now we are having these four pictures here. Earlier for the nursery class, we had three pictures. We have increased that one picture for the child who is in LKG class. So we are having a small fish, little bigger fish, further bigger fish, and biggest fish. So these four pictures the child should able to read simultaneously. Now, before we ask the child to sort all these four pictures into a particular order, we may ask by showing two pictures or three pictures, which one is big, which one is bigger, which one is biggest. So once we ask these questions to the child before starting this game, then child will also feel comfortable. The child will also develop a perspective that yes, this is small, this is big, this is biggest. So once that things will be uh, developed in the mind of the child, then putting or working on a problem given to the child will be much easier. Now we are having these four boxes for four different size of objects, or in this case we are having fish. So we will start with the smaller fish, then second box is small fish, then next box is a bigger fish, and the last box is the biggest fish. Now we'll be asking the child, and as you know that again I'm repeating, if you look to our cute module, that second U stands for understanding the communication. Whatever we say to our child should be able to understand. If the understanding is not clear, maybe child is capable to do this activity, this child is capable and must be or having a good cognitive skill. But if we are unable to communicate clearly, or the child's skill of understanding what direction is given, then we may mislead. So we teachers or parents may be very careful when we communicate what exactly the child is expected to do. If we are saying that pick up the smallest piece and put that in the first box, then child must understand. If we are making this communication and child is comfortable in that, it is expected child will be picking up the smallest fish and put that the box given for the smaller fish. Then we'll be asking the child pick up the then next bigger fish, or little small but bigger than the smallest fish. Then it is expected child will be picking up the next fish and put the fish in the box provided for that particular purpose. Then the child will be apart when the two pieces are left out, then child will be picking up uh, the small fish out of these two fish, but bigger fish than the previous one. Then child will be picking this one and put this fish in the right box given. And while we do, we may also get confused while communicating or clearly telling those things to our child. We should be very, very careful when we are just getting this activity done with our child. And then we'll be asking that to pick up the biggest fish in this out of four. Then child will be picking up that fish and put that fish in the box provided for that purpose. So this is one order. And sometimes based on our experience, we realized that the children often get confused. Children often do mistakes. Children are not able to do this exercise quite flexibly or quite easily in the first instance. But if this activity or exercise gets or it's done again and again, then the child feels comfortable and they do it quite easily. And once this particular sorting order is done and child is doing that without any difficulty, we may introduce another sorting order. It may be starting from biggest, bigger, small, and smaller. Then we'll provide these four objects, four pictures to the child and ask the child which one is the biggest one, pick up the biggest one and put that into the first box. Then the child is expected to put the biggest fish in the first box. Then we'll be asking the child which one is the next big. Then the child will be putting the next big fish. Then once the child is picking that, then the child will be asked then which one is the next big fish or smaller than the fish that you picked before. Then the child will be picking the next fish, and finally the child will be picking the smallest fish in out of these four. And once the child is doing those sorting order perfectly, then we should be happy, and we assume that the cognitive skill development of the child is happening absolutely fine if the child is able to do this when the child is in LKG class. So fantastic. This is a again fantastic game for the children in the LKG class, but make sure if the child is able to do this four pieces of objects or pictures, then we may increase the pictures, but this is what is the mandate. This is the minimum number of pictures or objects the sorting has to happen by the child without any problem if we need to grow the cognitive skill of the child to the optimal level. So this is the minimum thing, and if the child is able to do better and better, keep on adding the pictures, objects for the sorting kind of things. Okay, then we'll move to UKG class. UKG children, they are in the age group of 5 years and 6 years. And if the children, they are in the upper kindergarten or in the age group of 5 years and 6 years, then we introduce 5 pictures or 5 objects to play this certain game in order to improve the cognitive skill of the child. Now, as compared to our previous class of LKG, we had 4 objects and pictures. For UKG class, we have to put 5 pictures and objects. These are the mandate or the minimum basic things the child in the UKG class must able to do it. So doing this requires a structured process. If the child has not been exposed with the game in the previous classes, then suddenly bringing these 5 pictures objects, the child may face problems. So that's why we have to be very, very careful while doing this exercise or activity with our child. Objective is the child is able to read 5 pictures simultaneously, understand the comparison of the picture in size for all the 5 pictures, and sorting can be done without any problem by the child of using this by using these 5 pictures that those were provided to the child. Now we are having these 5 pictures here and our 5 objects of different size: smallest, smaller, small, bigger, and biggest. So doesn't matter what size of pictures we take, It's always better if we take bigger pictures, so child will be happy or child will be feeling comfortable uh, managing with all the pictures for various activities. Now, once those pictures are placed in front of the child will start observing them, and we parents or teachers can help the child asking questions between two pictures, which one is bigger, or pick up the smallest piece, pick up the little bigger piece. So these kind of questions we can play with the child before we place the problem in front of the child. Now, if the child is comfortable, and by this age, child must be comfortable in identifying the bigger, biggest, and smaller, smallest objects in front out of all the objects available in front of the child. And after that, we'll be placing 5 boxes, starting with this is one sorting order. We may put it as smallest, smaller, small, bigger, and biggest. So that is the order from smallest to biggest. That's the order or sorting things that we are asking the child to do, and this is the problem that we ask the child to resolve. And to resolving this problem, child must be having that picture reading capability and understanding the picture from different size perspective. So if the child has to put this sorting activity, child will be picking up the smallest piece and put that piece in the smallest box. And then the child will be picking the next bigger or what we call smallest in the comparison thing. And the child will be putting that into the box provided for the next bigger or little bigger piece. And then the child will be picking up the little bigger fish and put that into the small box. And then child will be picking the bigger fish, put that into the box provided for the bigger fish. And finally, the child will be picking up the biggest fish and put that in the box provided for the biggest fish. Now, through this, when the child is doing that, child is developing the problem solving skill, and simultaneously the cognitive skill is getting tested. And while the child is doing such kind of activities again and again, then the cognitive skill is getting strengthened, and so also the problem solving skill is also getting improved. And once the child is comfortable in managing one particular setting style or setting order, then we may change the setting order. Maybe we can do that from biggest to smallest. So we'll be asking the child, pick up the biggest, then bigger, then small, then smaller, then smallest piece, and put that into the order as provided in the box. Then child will be picking up the biggest piece, put that in the first box. Then child will be selecting the bigger piece, put that into the next box. Then next piece which is small, put into the third box. Then smaller piece, little smaller, into the next box, and finally putting the smallest piece in the box provided for that purpose. And through this, the child's skill is getting improved, and child's problem solving is also getting improved. And this game, although sounds very easy and easy to do at any point of time, but this game has immense potential to improve the cognitive skill of the child, and also the logical sequencing skill, and also the problem solving skill of the child. So we urge all the parents and teachers to get their kids engaged in such activities. And these activities can be played at any point of time during the academic year. It's not like that you just start, uh, don't do this activity and do this activity after something. It's not like that. So in that particular age, cognitive skill can be tested and improved through various activities. So this activity is one of them, and we are sure this activity will be felt easy by all of you, and you will be enjoying with your child. So Adibharat Kids brings a lot of innovative things in much structured way. That's where the Adibharat Kids is adding value, and we love listening from you based on your experience of spending time with your child for the improvement of the cognitive skill. And thank you very much for your patient hearing, and we look forward to talk to you with a new session with a new activity which will help the overall scale while your child is preparing to go for bigger things in life, both academically as well as other way. Thank you so much. And we'll be meeting you with a new session with a different game.